Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Okay, so today is day 1, week 12. Today's lesson is going to be over continuing personal growth and self-improvement after a narcissistic relationship and re-entering a new relationship. So I want you to know that we are already past all the other stuff that happened to you, right? But you need to understand that you still might have a little bit of lingering things along. And you'd be surprised because it's been 4 years now since I've been out of that relationship with the narcissist, my ex-husband. And even though I'm over it and I have healed from it, like I said, there's triggers. And you need to understand that you will have them. And triggers can last. And you don't even know when they're going to occur. You'll be surprised and amazed that how far you have gone and grown and a trigger happened. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's because that's your protective mechanism in your body, in your system that says danger, danger, danger. That's what that is. But I want you to understand that recovering from a narcissistic relationship and entering the dating scene can be challenging, but also an opportunity for profound personal growth and self-improvement. Yeah. Here are strategies to support your healing journey and to prepare for a healthy new relationship. So I'm going to go over some of these strategies that you can do. Let's talk about self-reflection and understanding. You want to identify patterns because when you do that, what it does, it helps you to reflect. And what you want to do, you want to reflect on patterns and dynamics of the past relationship to understand what happened and why it happened. Because that's going to help you to understand where you got trapped. What was it that was happening that got you in that moment where you couldn't get out as easily as you should have, okay? And that way you won't be so quick to do this again. Continue to learn about narcissism. You have to continue to educate yourself. So educate yourself about narcissism and the narcissistic behaviors as well as traits to understand your experience, okay? Everyone's experience is different too. So you want to understand yours. You want to have self-compassion in healing. So self-compassion, practicing self-compassion, be kind to yourself and acknowledge that healing takes time. You might think that you're doing good, and you are at some point. And then there'll be times when you're like, I thought I was over this. Why I'm feeling like this? Well, it's just healing takes time. So have some self-compassion, all right? You want to allow yourself to grieve. One day you might just break down crying and you don't even realize that what you're crying about. Just allow yourself to grieve. Give yourself permission to feel and process the emotions associated with the past relationship. Because you got to remember, it's like a death. Like someone died. Your relationship died. The relationship that you thought you had, the relationship you thought you was building, the life you thought you was going to have, is dead. That part is what that person is. Don't mean that it's dead, period. It's just dead with that particular person. All right. So set boundaries. Continue to set boundaries. I'm going to tell you this over and over. That boundary setting is going to protect you. That is your protection. Set boundaries. Learn to say no. Practice setting and enforcing healthy boundaries to protect your well-being. Assert your needs, all right? Communicate your needs clearly and assertively in all your relationships, not just one person, but all of your relationships. You know, I talk about my mother periodically in this course. Now, I would probably say my first encounter with a narcissist was her, but I didn't know it because when you're a child, you don't know nothing about all that stuff. You just know that your parents are controlling some of them, not all of them. But my mother was, she was a controlling woman. And not only, but she did give us freedom too. So that's why I couldn't tell the difference between that. Because when I was growing up, my brother and I practically almost raised ourselves because we was at home a lot by ourselves. She went to work and she worked 2 jobs. So when she was at home, she was asleep. And during the time when she wasn't asleep, she was up fussing at us and all that. And I talk about that in that book. Now, I didn't talk about everything in that book, but I did share some moments that I had with her dealing with ex-boyfriends and stuff, like how she didn't like any of my exes. The only one that she happens to like is my current husband right now. And I'm like surprised about that. And you would think all the years of my life, she could have liked at least one of them. No, none of them, except for the one I'm with right now, who I'm married to today. And it's just part of that has to do with her upbringing, how she was raised, and what happened to her. My mama deflect a lot of herself on me. That's what it is. I'm gonna tell you, that's the bottom line. She deflect a lot of her past life on me. Because there was times when she would talk about my dad, talking about how, because things didn't work out with her, that it won't work out with me. And that wasn't with my current husband, it was with other people that she would say that with. And I'm like, whatever, you can't do that to me. And I was determined to make a liar out of that situation. That was one reason why I stayed with my narcissistic ex-husband, because I knew she didn't like him. And yet I stayed with him just to kind of prove her wrong when I really was hurting myself in that process, not her. I was hurting me. And I knew better, because if I wouldn't have been fighting with my mother about my ex-husband, I would have let that man go a long time ago. Being honest about that. That's why if you have children and your children end up dating somebody that you don't like, get out of it. They will leave that person a whole lot faster if you stay out of it. Because if you stay in it and try to break them up, they're going to cling to that person just to prove you wrong. And that happens a lot, especially with girls. So definitely, whatever you do, don't try to break any of your children up, or even your sister or someone you love in a relationship, best friend and all that. They're going to have to find their own way. Now, you can't offer them this class and then let them determine on their own if this is something that they want to do. So you want to also continue to get therapy. That's awesome. We talked about that several times throughout here. If you're dealing with trauma, you want to get with a therapist or a counselor who specializes in trauma, and that can help you with any type of building, any kind of coping mechanism, coping strategies that can help you cope with what you're going through. And your support group, don't forget about them. They still around, so continue to use them. Don't overuse them, but use them, all right? Build self-esteem. And you're going to build self-esteem by constantly reading the 365 Days of Mindfulness, your daily affirmation guide by Alayla Carroll. You can purchase a copy. I will also have that link in here, so you can purchase a copy of that, all right? For those of you who are taking the class, you already have the PDF form, okay? So what it does, it helps you to rebuild your self-esteem and your self-worth. Mindfulness and self-care. Constantly be mindful of your everyday situation. Stay in the moment, because you could be doing something that is awesome and your mind drift off to la la land and you're not here, or your mind drift off to what happened to you in the past, and then you're like reacting in the present based off of something that ain't happened or that's not happening anymore. So you definitely want to stay in the moment. So continue to engage in mindfulness practices such as meditation, yoga, or any type of grounding techniques that will keep you in the present. And self-care routines. We're going to talk about self-care routine. I'm going to talk about long-term self-care. We talked about it before, but this time I'm going to talk about ongoing, something you can do every day and that will follow you for the rest of your life, all right? And we're going to talk about emotional, physical, and your mental well-being activities, things that you can do. And education about you want to educate yourself about healthy relationships, which I did give you some when we talked about building healthy relationships, all right? So definitely you want to learn new skills, read books, and to attend workshops, get some counseling or therapy on building healthy relationship, and keep the communication skills going, all right? So you also want to understand red flags, continue to understand them and be on the watch for them. Be vigilant when it comes to red flags. Recognize them, and also any type of potential partner that you have, pay attention to red flags. Because most of the time, people will show you who they really are in the beginning of a relationship, even though they're doing the representative of themselves, that representative is the one that's in front of you, they still have a way of showing their real true selves. And it usually happens when you least expect it, when you just like get surprised about something, like, oh my, I didn't know he had that in him, or she had that in her. Well, that is them. It's not they have it in them, that's them. And you just didn't know it yet. Now you're finding it out. So pay attention to the red flags, all right? And any unhealthy patterns like codependency. They keep calling you when you told them that you're not going to be available, and yet they still calling you. Or you gave them a set time to call you and they overstepping your boundaries, all right? Those type of things. Now let's talk about re-entering a new relationship. When you are re-entering a new relationship, take your time. This is so important for all of us. Take your time. You want to move at your own pace, not at the pace of the other person. They might want to rush you, but there's no rush to re-enter a relationship. Take the time that you need when you know that you feel ready to re-enter. If you don't feel ready, don't be like, well, we was always together. That's a red flag. Why are y'all always together? You weren't always together before you met this person. So what were they doing before they met you? What were you doing before you met them? Why do you have to always be together now? That is codependency. You are developing codependency to where when it's time for you to go and be with your friends or go out of town without them, now they're going to feel some kind of way, like you don't want me around, or they're going to try to engage and figure out how they can insert themselves into it, or you're going to be the one that's inserting them into it when they shouldn't be there. So take your time, all right? Take the time that you need to feel ready. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts, okay? Listen to your intuition and don't ignore any certain red flags. Any type of concerns you have, you need to address them right away. That way you can weed out the bad people and realize that you didn't waste your time with them. So definitely address it. Be open and honest, okay? Have open and honest communication with your potential, maybe. When you go on a date with somebody and y'all go on a date for the very first time, be prepared to ask series of questions. They might feel like they're at a job interview, but I'm going to tell you, it's easy to talk to them without it feeling like they being interviewed. It's a way of doing it, and I can teach you that if you want to. I would do this as a class, but I don't want to. What I want to do is have you sign up for one-on-one coaching with me, and then we can talk about what you want, because everyone wants things differently, and we can talk about what you're looking for and what you want in your new boo, and we can discuss how to talk and have those type of questions for them when you go on a date. No, you're not going to have a piece of paper out on a date reading it to them and saying, hey, so what do you like to do for your spare time? No, you're just going to remember these things to ask. So you're not going to ask questions down the line, a list of things. You're just going to ask key questions just to get the answer, because you don't want to ask too many questions at once, because if you do, you're going to forget their answer. It's best to ask maybe 5 good questions and remember those answers and their response, and then revisit those questions again, maybe on a 8th or 9th date, and say, you said you wasn't married, but do you want to get married? I remember you saying that you might want to get married, or you said you want to get married, but why do you want to get married? What is it about marriage that make you want to do that? And then listen to their answer, those type of things. And we'll go through that later. Well, if you sign up for one-on-one coaching and you want to know about it, then we'll go over that. So, also, you want to be transparent. Communicate openly and honestly with your new partner about your past experiences and current needs. I have a podcast that I talked to my that I talked to my current husband about, what make us work. So I asked my husband, what make us work? And it was a random question because he didn't know I was going to ask it. Actually, I didn't even know I was going to ask it. I was just in bed last night and I was thinking about it. And so I just said, you know what? See, I'm at the hotel, as you can see. I'm out working, and he is also working as well. He's doing some basketball training in Philadelphia or whatever. So I talked to him and I said, babe, I got a question to ask. And I want to know what make us work. And then he went straight into it and everything. And if you want to hear it, you can go on podcast and listen to it. So what he was saying to me, he went into a bunch of things. But one of the things that really stood out to me was how he talked about how he was fascinated or inspired or something like that about how strong I was dealing with my ex-husband, because we was going through a divorce, and how I handled that situation of going through a divorce with my ex-husband and everything. And he was like, the way you handled it, it was just like you were so strong in that. And I made sure that my husband now, which he wasn't my husband at the time, I made sure that he wasn't affected by him. I didn't want them crossing paths with each other, even though one day my ex-husband was at the house when my husband now was at the house with I'm trying to get this right.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. My husband now was at my house when my ex-husband showed up with some flowers, and he left the flowers on the stairs. And I saw it through the camera because I have, like I said, I got cameras everywhere, but this is a whole different house. But at that particular home, I had cameras there too. And I could see him coming up on the stairs with these flowers in his hand. And my husband now, he called me and he say, your ex just showed up. And at this particular time, I wasn't divorced yet. We was actually in the process of divorce. I had already filed the divorce papers, but I wasn't divorced yet. And he was like, what do you want me to do? I said, don't answer that door. He don't even know you there. And that y'all two would get into a fight. I don't want that. And not only that, my current husband carried a gun, and I didn't want no one getting shot behind some silly stuff. So just leave the door closed. He don't have a key because I changed the locks. And if he happened to try to come in, just call the police and he'll be escorted out, because he don't live there anymore. And I let the people know at the office about our current situation. And so he wasn't even supposed to be on the premises. Matter of fact, he was trespassing. He wasn't even supposed to be on the premises. And I did bring that to his attention after he had left. And I'm like, you are at my house. I'm not even there. And you got them old raggedy flowers out there. I'm going to let you know right now, they're going in the trash. But at the same time, you're not supposed to be on the premises. The people at the office are aware of what you did. So if they see you, you will be arrested on the spot. And he never came back. So that's just what it is, how I handled that situation. And no, he never came back. Actually, I think that was the last time I saw him. But anyways, everyone's not fortunate like that. So I just want you to understand that when you are talking to your potential boo, have that conversation because they need to be aware of the situation. Don't put them in any harm's way. Don't put them in danger. That is the worst thing you can ever do, is put someone who don't have anything to do with your situation to get hurt because of your situation. So please let them know and be aware. And you want to ask questions. So don't be afraid to ask questions and discuss important topics early. How's your credit? Yeah, we're going to talk about credit. What is your credit like? Hey, this is what happened to me. So when I was when I first started dating my current husband, I knew my credit was jacked up. I knew that because my ex-husband had blown my credit, and with that being said, I had to let him know there's certain things I'm not going to be able to get right now or do right now. And he was like, you know what, don't worry about it. I got a house. It's paid for. So you ain't got to worry about that. You got your transportation, and not just that, if you need help, I can help you. And he was like, I got good credit. You don't have to worry about it. And I was like, wow. Totally opposite of what I was dealing with. Totally opposite. Wow. Anyway, so you want to establish healthy boundaries. We talked about that. So set clear boundaries. Define and communicate your boundaries early in the relationship. They need to know it up front. Don't let them stumble across your boundaries after they have done something to cross it. They need to know it before it happens, so that way it won't happen. And if it happens, they did it intentionally, knowing your boundaries. So respect each other. We want to ensure that both partners respect and honor each other's boundaries. You want to build trust gradually. Gradually build trust. Take small steps. Build trust gradually and allow the relationship to develop naturally. Don't force it. That's how you really, really become truly connected, because you're not forcing something to happen. It genuinely happens over time. And look for consistency in words as well as actions as signs for reliability. Person tell you you're going to do something, see if they actually do it. If they don't, they come up with an excuse instead of an apology, then something's wrong with that. They're not a person of their word. If they say something and it doesn't align with their action, that's another problem. And if they come up with an excuse instead of an apology and then explain to you, and I ain't talking about excuses, I'm talking about explaining. Like, look, this happened and I really was trying to make sure, and instead I couldn't. And I'm so sorry for this happening. That's them explaining and apologizing. But if they're like, hey, I was gonna do it, but my money ran short, I'm broke, I ain't got no money. But hey, do you have it? Now they're making excuses to not do their part when they really said they was, instead of apologizing. And you want to practice self-awareness. So stay mindful. Be aware of your emotional reaction and triggers. Please excuse that. These people right here. So you want to definitely be aware of your own emotional reactions and triggers. You want to reflect on how past experiences have influenced your current behavior. So self-regulation, you want to practice self-regulating techniques to manage anxiety and maintain healthy balance. Couldn't get it out. Healthy balance. All right. So let's keep going. Seek mutual respect and support. Whatever it is that you want, you must be able to do the same. All right. So you want to have mutual respect. Ensure that there is mutual respect, support, and understanding in the relationship. I don't know why people drive like that. That is so annoying to me because you ain't going nowhere. You're just making a lot of noise. So anyways, physical safety. Always prioritize your safety, your physical safety, and your well-being. It got to happen. That is number one. You don't feel safe? Move around. Constantly. That's something that has to keep happening. So let's talk about self-improvement exercises. We talked about journaling, so definitely journal your progress. You want to write down your goals. You want to be mindful. Continue to focus on your breathing and do grounding exercises, as well as any type of daily gratitude practices. You want to show that you appreciate yourself. It's not just about you appreciating somebody else. Appreciate yourself. You want to write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. And you want to shift your focus on the positive aspects of your own life. All right. So express appreciation, express gratitude towards yourself and as well as others, but especially towards yourself. Because we always put energy in other people, but we don't put enough into ourselves. So definitely, you want to express gratitude for yourself by building positive connection with your own self. That's one reason why meditation is very important. Sit back and meditate on how you are grateful for your life. And your assertive training, don't forget that. We did that already. So continue to do your assertive training, all right? And physical activities, work out. Get your workout on. If you can't jump around, go for a walk. Walking is good too. If you can afford to get a treadmill and walk on a treadmill, if you can't go to a park, or if it's hot outside like it is in Houston, I don't want to go nowhere in that heat. But hey, I got a bike that I work out inside. I have things that I work out indoors. So find something that you can do inside as well. And of course, swimming is really awesome. So if you know how to swim, go swimming. Even if you don't know how to swim, just stay in the water up to your neck and then float with your arms and kick your legs around. That's good exercises for your body and your core. So that'll help as well. And you don't have to go anywhere. Just stay in a little spot and just kick, And don't forget what exercise does for you. What it does, it helps you to engage in regular physical activity to boost your mood and your overall well-being. Find enjoyable activities, things that make you happy. I already said walking, but what about dancing? I talked about dancing before. Any type of sports that you like. If you're not a sports person, it's okay. Find something that you like to do that gets your body moving. All right? So, recovering from a narcissistic relationship and re-entering in a new one requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to personal growth. By focusing on healing, setting healthy boundaries, and fostering self-awareness, you can build a strong foundation for a healthier and more fulfilling relationship in the future. Remember, the journey to self-improvement is ongoing, and every step you take brings you closer to a better version of yourself and a more positive experience. That ends day 1 of week 12. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taken with us here at Imaging Coaching. We'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.